The problem of telephones sometimes and YouTube, I find the content quite compelling, and I end up spending an hour on YouTube, and the Bible lies open on my table, and I don't read it, except to check certain things maybe. I'm going through the Bible slowly again this year, but it's rather slow. But of course, I kind of know the Bible now. I think. I mean, I don't know it properly, but I've read it many times. I'm pretty sure I read it 7 times over a 7-year period. So I do. I think I have a basic knowledge of it, and now my attention is a bit more focused. So I've started. I went from Genesis at the beginning of the year, and I'm still in at the end of Leviticus, and I skipped some of the ritual laws. I have to be honest. Um, I know they contain blessings, but and value, but I need to read them in a more focused, when I need to know about something. So I'm interested in slavery and servants, so I checked that quite carefully, and also in medicine, of course. That's all very interesting to see the Levites, the way that they that kind of community healthcare was practiced, I suppose, and should be practiced. That's interesting. But in my YouTube journeys, I would recommend. It's difficult to recommend people because they can say all sorts of stuff. But Hans Wormhat is somebody that I've followed for quite a while, on and off. There's been a little bit of conflict, in fact, not on my part, I would say, because he used to claim that Paul was an imposter and the Bible shouldn't include his work. I don't know whether he still thinks that. I challenged that. Well, I challenged it. I just said, well, if you don't believe the Bible, then I'm going to have to be a lot more selective and, be careful with what you say. And he sent quite an unpleasant comment to me on my channel. If just stupid, really. I just deleted it. And I did unsubscribe at that time, but I've since resubscribed because he speaks, truth as far as I can understand in many cases. And then he changed the name of his channel to, it was Repent, for the Kingdom of Heaven is at Hand. And it's just the first letter of each of those words. So I can't remember how to, you can't say it, but it's easy to find. Yeah. That's somebody who I do watch, and he's talking about Ramadan this morning, and that's going to be relevant for me in my community because there are so many of these Muslims, and it's quite right what he says. Ramadan is just a feast, and it's pride. It's pride. They take, no Muslim dares to open a food shop or to be selling food, and a lot of the food shops are Muslim run, and they will just be closed. I remember one time I went down to see my blind friend, and we used to go out to have a bite to eat in his neighborhood, just on foot, and he lives in a very Muslim area. And we walked up the road, the main road, for a mile, more than a mile, I think, and it's just packed with food shops, and there was nothing open except one man selling chickens, who was a Muslim, selling cooked chickens, and he was a Muslim, and I think I bought one, and I think he was probably selling them so they could be consumed in the evening. You see, it's just, the Bible does say, fasting is good for us, of course, but we're to do it in secret like other things. It's not something to be parading before the community. sadly, I mean, it's just a false religion, and that's the way it is, I'm afraid. No disrespect to my Muslim brothers and sisters. We've all been deceived by falsehood, and even the very Bible has been changed before our eyes. But I believe I know the truth, because the truth is Jesus Christ, and that's where I, place my focus at all times. Another channel that I watch is an Australian guy. I sometimes watch, I would say, called Phil's Been Thinking. And he had very few subscribers when I first joined up, and I only watched him because, sort of out of friendship, really. I don't agree with anything he says at all. And at one point he became so irritating to me that I unsubscribed from his channel, because he made the astonishing claim to me that it's perfectly plain that we live on a globe. All you have to do is go out to sea and you can see the curvature. And I've toyed with the idea of replying to him, but I don't like to get into those things. It's astonishing how people can make completely false claims in impunity. And he's obviously an educated man, and I'm sure very clever, probably cleverer than the speaker. Not difficult. I'm not. I wouldn't. I don't know whether cleverness is just one of those stupid words, isn't it, that people use to try to differentiate and create division. But his today's video is a sort of reaction to, I think it was a BBC show showing children talk about their vision of the future. And it's quite an interesting thing to watch if you can find the original footage. But it plays on his latest video, and he comments on it. And all that stuff is predictive programming, and to me that's just clear. And the children too are repeating stuff that has been implanted. I'm not suggesting laboratory implantation, although it's not to be excluded, but it's just the way that the literature and the cartoons and the movies, the subtle communication of mindsets, and recruiting children to pursue certain ideas. This is how it's done. And I thought I'm just going to write a comment, and I'm just going to say predictive programming. But all I'm doing is putting a target on my forehead, aren't I? Because I'm sure that, a quick look up at predictive programming will probably tell you it's some sort of conspiracy or something like that. And, some people are just so far from my understanding that to even engage, I have to be very careful how I speak, I think. I don't want to offend people, or to be offended if it comes to that. I mean, we don't enjoy that, do we? Good morning, brothers and sisters, anybody who cares to listen. I hope you have a beautiful day.